Well, we're back for our another episode. We're still here.
We are.
We are
We're going
still here.
strong.
Yep. We asked people. We said, what do you want us to talk about? And we got some just terrible, awful things. I don't even want to. I don't want to say ever again.
Well, we did a questionnaire on Instagram and we
Yes.
got 2 responses.
And one of them was you.
One of them was me just saying, "Is
No.
this working?" Because I thought there's no way that people just haven't responded to this.
Someone said like sewage and plumbing or something.
Yeah, like sewer line inspections.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a great podcast.
Yeah. No, but there were some good ones, but we'll get to those. We had a couple good ones near the end before the post expired. I don't know if you saw them.
No.
Yeah, they were good. There was like four. So
What were they?
I can't remember.
Okay.
One was they wanted our opinion on EXP.
Mm,
One was opinion on I think top producing agents and teams. People
okay.
would say that, yeah.
Just what do we think of
Just our
good
opinions on
teams?
things.
Okay.
I think, yeah, they just want our opinions on things. And then we had someone asking about some crazy real estate stories.
That's good.
Maybe we'll go on with that today because I'm
Let's
sure you
let's
have some crazy ones.
Yeah, everyone always says that. Like, oh, I'm sure you got some crazy stories. It's like when you do 4 or 5 deals a year, you don't have that many crazy ones. I get a lot of submissions of crazy ones.
So, well, you lit a open house on fire.
Yeah, that was a joke. I wish that happened actually.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've been in what, 6 years now, the
Yeah.
industry? And out of those 6 years, is there one that really stands out, or a couple, but one that you always kind of go back to?
Yeah. I've told this one before, so if people have heard it, just turn off the podcast.
Yeah.
So 4 years ago, I started the broke agent with another guy, right? Wes
Yeah, yeah.
Pinkston.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you tell me every fucking episode.
I've
Yeah.
told you once. This
Yeah.
is, other people are listening to this, believe it or
Yeah,
not.
well,
So
no, they've heard it too.
it's a
Yeah,
context
we
thing.
all know Wes.
Okay. Anyway, Wes and I were both agents and we worked together too. So we were like a team. So
Now, is
anything I
Wes a
did,
good? Is he a good agent? Like, is
he
he
worked with the Altman brothers. He
okay?
he was a good agent. I don't think he does real estate anymore,
Oh,
but he was a good agent and
okay.
under the Altman brothers. And yeah, we formed a team basically, but all we worked on was broke agent stuff. But we would sit open houses for people. And then this woman in our office had a listing in the Palisades and she lived in West Hollywood. So she said, "Hey, I'll give you 20% of the listing if you guys show it, sit all the open houses." The seller turned out to be a complete whack job. He was inventing some sort of medicine that you would take with vapes. So he had vapes all over the place. He was constantly smoking weed. So the house always like reeked of pot. And he would always lurk around open houses. He was just like your classic lunatic seller. And then he would walk his little dog, Teacup, I think was the name, this little like rat chihuahua, and would like walk it around for maybe 5-10 minutes and then pop right back in the open house. So one day we got there 20 minutes early to set up, and I was walking around the house because I always had to do like cleanup. Basically, I had to clean shit up. I had to open the doors because the guy would leave no lights on, even though he knew an open house was coming. It always pisses me off when sellers know that an open house is coming. They leave and they turn everything off,
Oh yeah.
even though they know you're going to be there in 1 minute. Even if you see them out the door, they closed everything, turned everything off, and then you have to just flick everything on
Redo
right
it.
after.
I know. Turning on the lights is the fucking worst.
It is. I get like saving energy or
Yeah,
electricity.
but right before you're coming in for an open house, like, whatever.
Yeah, it's like just leave them on for 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm walking around making sure there's no weed and vapes and paraphernalia all over the place. And I always had to open doors and everything before. And I walk up to his room, and on his bed is a silver 12 gauge shotgun.
Oh God.
And just laying on the bed, not propped up against anything. Like clearly he was laying in bed, like holding it or like shining it, or I don't know what he was doing with it, but he was clearly like tinkering around with this
Had
thing.
you had communication with him yet, or is it you just
That
saw
day,
that?
yeah. So he
Okay.
was downstairs, and I was like, I'm just gonna go
Okay.
look around. And
Yeah.
Wes was downstairs, probably just like talking to the guy. And so I come out, I'm just like, hey, you gotta get this thing out of there. There's going to be people in this house in like 2 minutes. You can't have a shotgun taking up half the bed just laying there.
Insane.
And he's like, oh yes, yeah, of course. And then so we're still, putting out the sign-in sheets and shit downstairs. And then I hear like, hey boys. And he's standing at the top of the stairs with the shotgun. And then he points it at Wes and I. And then he makes like bang noises as if he's like shooting at us. And we're literally diving behind like the columns. And it was one of the most horrifying things ever. He was laughing maniacally too. And he was kidding. But afterwards, Wes and I looked at each other and we were like, dude, we gotta get out of here or something. We can never sit this open house again. This guy's completely psychotic. And it's like a fun story to tell and everything, but
there's a reason why that agent didn't want to fucking do the open houses.
Yeah, not because she lived in West Hollywood, because the guy might have shot her. So that one was crazy. And we were completely rattled. Like we were laughing about it afterwards. We were like, oh, classic. Let's just
Did you stay the open? Did you do the open?
Yeah, we stayed the open. I mean, we're getting 20% of this, $4 million listing. So
did
we
it
had
sell?
No.
It never sold.
No, it never sold. So we never got it. And I don't think we ever went back to it after that either. I don't know if there were any more open houses, turned into like a short sale, some bullshit with the bank. I don't even know what happened.
How does that fucking guy have a $4 million house?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe he bought it, 30 years ago. There was no conversation ever about what was going on with the house. It was just like damage control constantly, like get this guy out of here as quickly as possible. So that was a pretty scary one. That was the first time I feared for my life as an agent.
I'd be terrified. That's like some people would never recover from that. Honestly, like that would be, because you don't know these fucking people.
Yeah. The guy was a little bit of a jokester. So
if you never point a gun at someone.
No, obviously not. I'm not defending him in this situation. I just don't want to make it seem crazier than it was.
Yeah, he's a bit of a jokester.
It is pretty crazy. Yeah.
Bit of a jokester.
And then of course after
that was
that,
the fucking Joker.
Yeah, seriously. The actual Joker.
Yeah.
So yeah, got no commission and showed that place and got a gun pulled on me. So that was sick.
Scarred. You're a little scarred. That's
What
fucked
about
up. I have a lot. I feel like more shit has happened to me. Like I've been in for 4.5 years. I sound like I'm in fucking prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been in
times. But there's a lot. I'll do a recent one first. So I got a sign. I sold a place because I'm an incredible real estate agent.
Yeah.
So I sold a place. I got a sign call. I don't know if sign calls are very common down there, but they just called off the sold sign.
But when you have no signs up, it's hard to get signs called. Sign calls.
I'd assume. Okay. So yeah, had a sign, sold it really fast. Fucking rock star. Some guy called me. He's like, hey, this is Ron. And he was talking to me. He was weird right off the bat. He's like, I want to sell my house. My wife and I are getting divorced. She's crazy. Stuff like that. Like that's the first conversation.
She's crazy.
so that's like right away.
Crazy. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, cool. He's like, yeah. So can you come give us a home evaluation? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I'm always like pretty like sketched out. I always like to have some sort of like, I try and like creep him on Facebook or something, but he's like old. So you didn't have Facebook or Instagram. So it was hard to like do that. So I was like, all right, I'll just go in cold. So we book it for the next day and I go, and the first thing he does, I ring the doorbell. He has like, it's like the curb appeal is very nice, but he's like really squeaking on a toy.
It sounds like he's humping your leg down there.
No, he's squeaking on a toy. Is it really loud?
No, you can barely hear.
Okay. Yeah. So curb appeal is really nice. And I ring the doorbell. I'm like, okay, this is normal. All right. But he sounded fucking weird. So yeah. Ron answers the door and he just like looks at me and does like a whole like top to bottom. He goes, huh, you're a young one. First thing he says.
With like a smirk on his face?
Yeah, like super creepy at this point.
Ew.
So I'm like, oh, for fuck's sakes. So I'm like, yeah, how's it going, Ron? He's like, good. I was like, all right. So I get in.
All right, I'll see you later, Ron.
Yeah, I get into the house. I was like, oh yeah, it's a piece of shit. It's a fucking shithole. I get in the house. He's like, yeah. So what, you want to see the basement?
Come on.
I was like, yeah, well, like we'll get there. I'm like, is it finished? He's like, no.
We'll get there. Yeah, let me see the kitchen first.
Yeah. I go, is it finished? He goes, no. So okay, I don't even fucking okay. So I'm like walking around. He's like super creepy the whole time. And like I guess he's got two daughters and they're away at school. And this guy keeps like saying weird fucking shit. So I'm like just looking around and then like I hear this stomping down the stairs and this person comes there and nothing but just like a t-shirt and it like it's like knee high, like at the right above the knee. And they come down to like, there's fucking mold. There's fucking mold all in the basement. There's like $75,000 worth of mold repair. I'm like, sir, you're gonna please calm down.
It's a
And
different guy.
she's like, I'm Ron's wife.
Oh my God. You said, sir, please calm down.
I think you have to calm down. She's like, I'm Ron's wife. I was like, holy fuck. So now I'm like thinking like, oh my God. She's like, you want, I spent all day cleaning upstairs. You want to come see it? I was like, yeah, sure. I'm just like, whatever. She's like, come now. So I go up and like, she's like, I spent all day cleaning. I want you to see what I did. I was like, what the fuck is happening? So I go, she hasn't cleaned. There's fucking crackers on the ground, like filthy at this point. I'm like, oh yeah, it's nice. And like now I'm at the point where I don't want to touch anything. My hands are in my pockets. I'm like, get me the fuck out of here. I don't want your shitty listing. And I go back down and Ron's like, so you want to see the basement now? I was like,
No.
dude, no. I was like, yeah, it's worth 700. He's like, you haven't even seen the basement. You haven't even seen the living room. I'm like, yeah, it's 700. He's like, you can tell all that from not seeing the whole house. I was like, and this is what y'all need to know, okay? You bullshit. I said, Ron, I've seen every model on this street fucking 10 times over. Of course I don't have to see all this. There's only 3 models on this street. He goes, wow, that's incredible. So he was looking to move. He was looking to move forward. And I said no. And I've never talked to him again.
Yeah, and anytime they direct you straight to the basement
Immediately.
upon free home evaluation day is pretty horrifying, I would say. I think you escaped one, and also dealing with them as sellers is completely not worth the commission.
It's not worth it. $75,000 worth of mold. I was like, why do you want me to go down there?
Yeah.
Like, what'd you do? Try and build a fucking moat down there? Like, how is there so much mold?
Was there anything about the kitchen that was clean that she was trying to show you?
No, there's nothing good about the house. It was filthy. Mm-hmm. The curb appeal is great. It was well kept, the garden, everything. And then you get into it's like a different place.
Like the Silence of the Lambs house.
And it was so weird. And it was so much creepier because he's like, want to see the basement, which, okay, maybe he's got an amazing basement that he can't wait. I was like, is it finished? He goes, no. Like, so yeah, I mean, it's scary, man. I don't like it. I don't like that at all. I like working Sphere and like my Instagram, but like cold calls, I don't like that shit.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
My first like year was door knocking and cold calling and trying to go in random houses.
I know, yeah.
And yeah, I know, you know. I'm just telling. I'm telling.
No, I'm saying like, I mean, I know I did that too, trying to go
okay.
houses.
And that was always horrible. Just even if someone invited me in, like I remember the maybe 2 times out of 150 that I did this in like a 2 or 3 month span. Those are completely random numbers, but I got invited into this old lady's house in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
And she liked me because I was Jewish and I saw the mezuzah and I said something about Israel. It's like a classic, way to get in basically. And even then she was just taking me around her house on like a random Tuesday at 2:00 in the afternoon. And it felt weird.
Yeah.
Because I was with nobody and my job was to drop off an expired listing package and set up an appointment for my bosses to go in for an actual listing presentation. And I just always remember hoping that no one would ever answer the door when I was door knocking or answer the phone when I was cold calling, which is the worst strategy.
Same with me. I feel like I did it just to say I was doing it, but I didn't want to fucking talk to anybody.
Oh, no.
Kidding me?
Dude, imagine
let alone go into someone's fucking house.
Yeah.
I never wanted shit to happen. I was just doing it, taking some pics of me doing it so everyone would shut the fuck up and, my team leads wouldn't be like, oh.
Exactly. For a year, I did that. hoping I wasn't going to get a lead, basically, because I didn't want to put myself in those situations. Not out of fear of getting beat up, of course, but out of just this is just such an awkward situation. I don't even want to be involved with
No,
this.
I fear that though. Like you don't know
Yeah.
who you're gonna talk to. Like who's gonna answer the? I mean, I remember the one of the first cold calls I've ever done, and I'm still working this lead, and we've become like we know each other now. But I did a cold call. It was like it's a $2.5 million house, and I just thought it. I was like, oh yeah, I might as well just start here. It was my first call of the day, and I called, and this lady picked up. I was like, hey, you want to? And I had been doing cold calls for like 3 months, 4 months, not one fucking conversion.
Yeah.
And then I called today. I'm like, hey, you want to? And I was really solid now at my first line. Like, yeah, looking to do a free home evaluation. It was a really solid first line.
Yeah, it sounds really solid.
And I was like, this is
Looking to
Matt.
do a free home
No, I was like, this is
evaluation.
Matt Leonetti. I have a couple extra spaces next week for a free home evaluation. Would you be interested in getting in? Some shit like that,
A couple spaces, yeah.
Yeah, you make it sound like little did she know I'm fucking eating Captain Crunch watching
Right.
Netflix. But and she goes, yeah.
You're like, shit.
I had no script. No, I only had the
Yeah,
object.
the negatives, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I was like, and then I turned it. I was just like, oh, okay. So does it? Can we do Friday? And like, I'm surprised she didn't hang up there. I was
Mhm.
literally just like scrambling. I couldn't fucking think of anything to say. And she's
Well,
like,
you only had 2 spaces left, so you
uh,
could have been scrambling in your calendar.
and that's what I was thinking. And I was like, maybe she thought that. And then I was like, okay. And then I was like, okay, how about how's Wednesday or Friday? And she's like, Friday works. I was like, okay. And then I was like, okay, bye. I just fucking hung up.
Okay, sorry, bye. Okay, sorry, I'll talk to you later.
I went, and yeah, I'm still working on that lead. And
Damn. Did you ever pull the fake buyer trick?
oh, I have a buyer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking kidding me?
My old bosses loved that move. And it
It's
made me
very
feel
effective.
it's very effective, but it made me feel so uncomfortable because they would be like, tell me you have a buyer, tell me you have a buyer. And a couple times I did, and a couple times we even went to the house, of course. And we had a team of 4 people, and all 4 of us went. And I was like, we got to stop doing this 4-person thing. This is ridiculous. We're
It's
just like
like
4 dudes showing up like we're not a hockey team.
now
You know,
that looks bad on you guys. Like you're coming to fuck them up.
it looks ridiculous. So I
Like,
remember there's this house, I think it was in Beverly Hills also, or Hancock Park. And it was like a $5 million house. And this elderly man was the guy that, thinks that we have a buyer, and it's 4 of us. And he just gave us this look like, why are there 4,
yeah,
30-year-olds in my house right now?
yeah,
And they asked my boss, I don't want to like divulge any names here, just like who their buyer was, and he was like kind of scrambling trying to figure it out. And the entire thing just felt scummy because clearly it was like, okay, well, if our buyer doesn't like it, of course we want to come back for a listing presentation.
yeah,
And this guy literally just took an hour out of his day to let in 4 douchebags to walk
yeah.
around his house.
I know. Sometimes I feel like I'm not. Some people are like really sketchy and like
Mm-hmm.
slimy, and sometimes like, so I used to have a inside sales cold caller guy on one of the teams, and he would like call and set up appointments, and I'd go in cold, and I hated it. And one time it was this like really old guy, and like he wanted to sell, and they're like, yeah, just tell him this and this and this, and I was like, I can't do that. I
Yeah.
think it's not a good time for him to sell. It's
Right.
I'm just not. I can't do it. I'd rather not have the commission
Yeah.
and feel like shit. Like this guy was like 91.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just walking through, and he was just like so happy to talk to me. I stayed for like 2 hours, and like he was just talking to me about his life.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, you have a good day, sir, and don't sell your house.
Yeah. Forget you ever met me.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I got to entertain you for a couple hours.
Yeah, it's just like I can't do that shit, man. Sometimes I feel like I'm not cut out for that aspect of it. Like I just want to film some videos and fucking make some commish and
Yeah.
help some people out, but I'm not fucking, if you really don't want to sell, I'm not working you until you sell.
Yeah. I saw two sides of it where that one team that I was on was all the cold calling and door knocking and expired listing packages and relentless pursuit of sellers. I'm talking dropping off stuff, dropping off stuff at their house a couple times a day. Like with that lady whose house I went into at the beginning of the story, the elderly Jewish lady,
Yeah.
my boss just told me to come back after I'd already met with her and drop off like a flower. And I did that, and that felt weird too. It's just like, does she want to know that I was outside of her house again?
Yeah.
And then she stopped responding to the calls, and they're like, come back and drop off another note. And I dropped off another note. I was like, this is psychotic shit. Like, how many times do you want me to go back to this
I
house?
know.
And then they would pinpoint houses that they've made contact with. And basically I'd like sit in my car and knock. They'd be like, you got to go in the morning, try to catch him in the morning before work, and then try to catch him before dinner. And I would do it. And it was just my friend and I, we'd sit in our car, go to all these places, door knock, and try to hit them at like different times to see when these sellers would be home.
It's so
And
fucked.
it's so uncomfortable.
It's just not, I get, some people just aren't cut out for it in that way.
Yeah.
And
There's
that's
so many
another,
ways to get business, but that way it's just
exactly.
like,
That's what's so cool about the business. Like, there's so many, you don't have to do that ever now. I
yeah,
mean, 6 years ago, you kind of did. I mean, this wasn't as big, like the whole social media shit
yeah,
in the business.
true.
So like you kind of had to, that was your, that's what you had to do.
Yeah.
Even when I started here, there was no DocuSign yet.
Hmm.
Like I was fucking driving to get signatures. Can you believe a world where I'm driving to get signatures?
That sounds horrible.
Doesn't sound horrible.
I was never doing contracts, and I guess in my first couple of years, because I was an assistant and then the buyer's agent, so I never had to deal with it. So I've always used DocuSign, thank God.
Yeah. So I
But I
was
can't
driving.
imagine having to like just reprint stuff and
Dude,
actually have to be there while your client is signing. That's also horrifying because you know
yeah.
they're going to ask you a million questions. And
Yeah.
you actually have to explain the contract.
Yeah.
Like, what's 15C? You're like, I don't fucking know. I usually just send this off.
My
Just
first,
click it, please.
I actually got really good at it because my first team, he's like a monster agent, and he made me do like a test, and I couldn't bring out buyers or sellers until
Hmm.
I like passed his test. And he would like ask me like, "Oh, what's section fucking A on the contract, 1A?" And I'd have to tell him every part of the contract.
That's great.
It was really
That-
good. At the time I was like, "Fuck this. What the hell?" And then he said he's the reason probably why I'm like so comfortable now, because before he would send me on like so like when people had like leases, like they had buyer people who were looking for leases, they would send me to show them, and that was like my training. And like I remember one time I was in like downtown Toronto in the condo market. That's a whole other market. Like I don't really work the condo market. I had no it was literally my first or second week in real estate. I had no fucking idea. Any condo, there's lock boxes. Usually at a condo in Toronto, there's like 55 lock boxes, like not even exaggerating. And fucking, I'm showing this lady I don't know. I'm showing her all these houses. I have to like GPS to the next building because I don't
yeah.
know where to go. And it's like the dead of winter here, so it's like below zero. And the the fifth, there was six places we had to see, and on the fifth house, we were driving in separate cars. My phone died. I had no idea how to
Yeah.
get to the next place. So like
You're
I'm
done.
losing it. I'm like 2 weeks in, so I think if I don't get to this place, my license is going to be revoked and I'm done.
Yeah.
So everything, my first year, everything I did, I thought my license was going to be taken away.
It doesn't happen that often.
No, I know.
Your license is gonna be revoked because you didn't meet a renter.
I didn't know what the fuck. So I'm like going and I'm driving. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So I was at Keller Williams then, and I see a Keller Williams, and I can't find parking because Toronto's insane. So like I just pull over on the side of the road and I start fucking running down Queen Street in Toronto, and I'm like sprinting, and people are like all looking at me like it's right out of a scene of a movie. I'm like bumping into people
Yeah.
with my phone, and I run into the Keller Williams, And I'm like, I'm like so out of breath because I'm not in shape, and I have no cardio. And I'm like, hey, and she's like bewildered. She's like a little scared. I'm like, I need a phone charger. And she's like, okay. I was like, I'm with Keller Williams. Like, I'm like charging my phone, and like, I'm literally just sitting at her desk. And it's so awkward now because I need to wait for it to charge.
Yeah, just get me to 2% so I could call this
Yeah,
renter.
yeah, exactly. And she's like, do you want me to like print out maps? I was like, oh, it's fucking awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
print it all
great
out.
idea. Yeah.
So she's printing it out for me. Her name was Angelica, very nice lady. And she got me on my way. And then I called and I was like, I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm on my way now. She's like, oh, I saw the building. I didn't actually want to go there. I'm just going to go home.
You're like, thank God.
Well, yeah.
All
And
that
I'm
for
like,
nothing, but thank
yeah, I
God.
would have, information would have been good about 10 minutes ago. So
Right.
that was fucked. And I was always said I was going to send uh, Angelica flowers
Still
or like
can.
some chocolate because she was so nice, and I never did because I had no money. And uh, the week before that, my card got declined when I was trying to buy a chicken meal at McChicken meal at McDonald's.
Damn.
Yeah, I had no money when I
Rough times.
started.
Look at you now.
I had no money when I started. I had $700 in my bank account, and I had $800 or $900 phone bill that was overdue. I had no money. Fucking crazy, eh? Now I'm the
Yeah, that
host of
is.
the #1 podcast,
Yeah,
real estate
exactly. Now we're
podcast.
just raking it in.
#1 real estate
Fireworks.
podcast. Yeah, so it's fucking crazy. Yeah, I was a musician before. No fucking money there.
Yeah, showing around renters was always a nightmare.
I don't do it ever.
And yeah, my first 5 or 6, like, I mean, not even some of them just didn't even go through. I like lost touch with some of them, but there was this one guy that was a referral from my old company at Hilton and Highland, and I showed him like 20 or 30 rental places, and they were all in West Hollywood, and he would get to every one like 15, 20 minutes early. And we always had to wait for the listing agent. Not everything's on lockbox here.
Yeah.
And just those days were just like my heart was just ripping through my chest the entire day because I was afraid he was going to ask me a question I didn't know. It was a rental market that I had no idea about and a location I didn't know about that was just a referral. This guy was 60 years older than me,
Yeah.
and getting to every appointment early. He had no idea that we had to wait for other agents and didn't understand that it wasn't my fault if the other agent didn't show up, and then I have to like stand and talk to this guy for 15 minutes about stuff I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
And it's just like there's so many of those situations when you're first starting out where you just have constant anxiety where you're like, I just want this fucking day to be finished.
Dude, sitting open houses too.
Yeah.
It's that was the exact always I was so scared. And the first you don't really know what to expect the first couple because you don't know what questions they're gonna ask.
Yep.
But then like once you really do have to fail
Yep.
miserably, and then okay, maybe I should fucking check what year the house was built. That would be
Yes.
good. Because like right away, they say what year is the house built, and you're like, sometimes I would just be like, it's 65 years old. They're like,
No.
no, this house.
This is a new construction. I don't know what you're talking about.
They're like, they just built it 2 years ago. I was like, right on. But right away, they're never working with you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know age of furnace, age of house, fucking roof. Like
Yep.
those are you need to know those things.
Solds around the area. But I hate when like a know-it-all neighbor or someone walks in and they keep mentioning houses that you have no idea about. They're like, oh, you know that house down on, Coral Street. And you're like, oh, yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah,
And they're
that's
like
just
describing it to you and they want to show you how much you know. People love showing realtors how much they know.
oh, I know.
And it's really frustrating to talk to some people because they just want to prove to you how much they know. They're like, yeah, so it's like in Hancock Park right now. I saw shit's going for like 1,100 a square foot over there. Like, what do you think about the new development on Wilshire?
I
You're like,
know.
dude, I don't fucking know. I don't know.
Sometimes
I
I
don't
just
think
think
anything about it.
they're
I'm
like,
thinking about USC advancing to Elite Eight. I don't care at all.
yeah. So that's gonna be in my coaching program
When are you gonna release it?
next week. I haven't started it yet, but
Well, I think a lot of this is something that we want to cover in like a real estate education, we're not talking about getting people to sell more real estate. It's about the interactions that you're going to have and basically how not to feel like an idiot. And we've talked about this before, but there's obviously a huge gap the second you get your license to, your first 5 or 6 years, you feel like a complete moron.
Yeah.
You're scared. You're constant anxiety that people are going to call you out on stuff you don't know, constant anxiety that people are going to ask you a question at open house you don't know, and nothing really prepares you unless you have a guy like you did that was literally telling you what's on 5A of the contract. We don't have those training programs. I mean, it depends on the brokerage, of course, but
Yeah.
we're going to try to create something like this that has funny skits of people screwing up, people messing up, and then it actually shows what you should talk
Yeah.
about.
How to
So I
correct
think,
it.
yeah, how
Yeah.
to
And
correct it and just like fail through us, because
we've
you'll
done
feel
it.
so much more comfortable.
Yeah. We've done it. We've done the failing.
Yeah.
So now we can show you how not to, especially
Yeah.
when you're young, like us getting in young. It's even worse
Hmm.
because they already assume you don't know anything. And
Yes.
then when you don't know, they're like, oh, well, I was right.
Well, because experience is everything in this business. Like that's why I work with a mentor on half my deals, because the guy's been in the business 15, 20 years. If there's a situation that comes up, he knows how to handle it and knows how to like walk me through it.
Yeah.
So you don't get that until you've been like, every deal brings something new, of course. Look at how much we're talking about real estate today. Usually we're just talking about how many likes we get on an Instagram
I
post.
know. This is incredible. We
Yeah.
are bringing the heat, I would say.
Yeah. I think we are.
It's a real estate podcast, and it really sounds like one today.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we could do a quick transition. I'm transitioning now that we're going to talk about Instagram real quick.
Okay.
Is that okay?
I guess.
You want to keep telling stories?
No. I want Instagram now. I got
I mean,
some.
how long have we been going here?
I don't know. It doesn't give us a timer.
No.
Yeah, not sure.
See
What
ya.
about Instagram? What's
Just
going
log
on?
off.
You got 300,000 followers yet?
No.
Okay.
I'm
What's up?
switching. I've told you this now for 2 weeks. I'm starting to do reels and
Yes.
TikToks with my face again.
So you're saying this here so everyone
Yeah,
is looking out for it and likes it so it gets good engagement.
I'm saying this here so that I hold myself to it.
Okay.
So the memes and the reels, the slideshows, everything, it's great. Engagement's fantastic. It's easy. I could pump out 3.
Business is booming.
Business is booming. But I got to show more of me, and I could do way funnier stuff when I'm not acting it out like in skits, but doing like kind of not the stuff that you do necessarily rants, but the TikToks that I was posting kind of last year at this time, those all did really well. And trying to get verified on Instagram too. And I'm not going to do it by posting clear to close memes.
The road to verification.
Exactly. That's what this podcast should actually be called. Road to the check.
Road to the blue check.
Yeah.
We should do a whole fucking series on it.
Yeah.
And just like have like the sit down on the couch interview. Like, I thought today this post was really going to do it, but it's just not. I think I have to,
I have to apply to get. I have to apply again.
I have to apply again in 30 days. So, I'll see you then. And
exactly.
It cuts out and like, guys, it's like 30 days later.
30 days later.
Guys, it's still not happening. I don't know. I thought I really pivoted properly this time in the blue check. And then
what's crazy?
days later, it's like
just
yeah.
long
So
hair and beard.
I spent $1,500 on this. His name was Blue Check Mark, and he said he was gonna verify me, and
in 2 hours
I'm gone.
He said all I have to do is send him $1,500 on PayPal.
Yeah, and my password, and now my profile's gone.
It's gone. I am getting so many messages on WhatsApp, just text messages, emails from verification scams. They could smell it. They're like sharks. They smell a little blood. They know because they're seeing the account, and they go after larger accounts, I think.
I got a really good one.
One that was convincing.
Hello, would you like to get verified as a real estate agent on Instagram today?
Yep.
I was like, sign me up.
Yep. They are all over the place right now. And some of them misspell the word verified. Like that one I sent you the other day. They said, do you want verification Instagram? And it was clearly just like someone that doesn't speak English that was sending it to me.
That's another thing we could touch on real quick. The amount of people, I'm sure you get it too, always in my DMs, they immediately just try and sell right away.
Mm. Yep.
Oh, hey Matt, and sometimes they think they're, hey Matt, love your videos. Anyways, we run
Can
a
you post
company.
this?
Yeah, we run a
Yep.
company that does this and this and this. We think it'd be very beneficial. It's about $1,500 a month. Here you go. I'll never work with you. I'll
Yep.
never fucking work with you. You got to build. That's like, honestly, that is like DMing a dick pic
Mm-hmm.
before saying, hello, how are you?
Right.
That's the equivalent, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Right? No
Yeah,
one
just
wants
straight,
to see it.
just dong right off the bat.
No one wants to see it. But now it's there. And now you're blocked.
People have been sending me stuff just
Dick
telling me to
pics?
post things. No,
Oh, okay.
that'd be more interesting. They're just sending me their videos.
Yeah.
Today there was a guy that sent me his videos, or I told you about the other guy that texted me
Yeah.
somehow because my number's on Instagram and said, hey, post this one first and then post this one a day later without any sort of introduction,
The
and just sent me
nerve.
these extremely non-funny videos.
The
And then he
nerve.
followed up like 5 times. I said, hey man, I got him. Thanks. Not posting. And it's
Never.
just,
And
no,
even if he has a funny one now, you'll probably never post it.
no, never. When you're asking to post,
Yeah.
gets annoying. Sometimes,
Well,
if you send something funny, of course, I will post it. Like I want funny content. I don't want it to just be my content. Like,
you've had people on Clubhouse call you out, like a number of people, not just
mhm.
one. You've had, I'd say, like 10
Yeah,
people
like 80.
on a live Clubhouse say, "Hey, I posted this."
How come you didn't post it? Why won't you post it?
Yeah,
And like
the
we've talked
nerve.
about, it's not like Millie Bobby Brown is sharing your post.
Mhm.
It's the broke agent. And if your gallery, your photo gallery isn't a bunch of funny stuff, no one's going to follow you anyway. So even
Yeah,
if you post one funny video, people are going to go to your profile and see like, oh, I just see a bunch of just sold in escrow and normal realtor stuff. I don't want to follow this person. But when
yeah,
people go to yours and it's something I posted, they're like, oh, this is in line with what I want to follow because it's
yeah,
funny content.
yeah. You gotta, yeah. If you're gonna do some sort of influencer thing, it's got to be on brand with you.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking
I
of,
don't,
I just did a
yeah,
post. You see that?
I like that. I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah. I think I did a good job. It's what do you meme real estate edition, which is literally you put captions to funny photos. And it's by the creators of Fuck Jerry. It's a pretty did
People
a pretty
liked
good
it,
job.
liked your post, and the
Yeah, it
stories
got
were
good
really good.
engagement. Yeah, stories were okay. And I mean, it's as in line on brand as you could possibly get. It's literally real estate memes
Yeah,
gamified.
yeah, it looks pretty cool. I think I'll get it. Although I don't really hang out with any other realtors.
Yeah, me neither. You just play it with
Play
yourself
with
or your
my
wife.
wife.
Yeah.
She'll be like, "What the fuck is this?" I'll be like,
Look, I got enough filming your stupid reels. I don't want
"It's
to
fucking game
hear any more
night."
jokes.
She would, yeah, she'd be like, "Not a chance."
Game night and you bring out real estate memes.
Yeah, no, it was good. I like it. But yeah, I mean, I think
Thanks.
this episode was pretty valuable, if I do say so myself. What do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah, I think it was. We told some crazy stories, gave some advice.
We're gonna give our opinion. I think next week maybe on EXP. Um,
Oh
no,
yeah, the
no,
much sought after opinion.
yeah. I mean, there's no right or wrong, but we'll give our opinion. People want,
I didn't
and
know
if you
that
guys
much
want,
about it.
well, we'll research it. If you guys
Okay.
want our opinions on anything, let us know.
Anything.
I also shaved my mustache.
Looks good.
Thanks. I have to shave it every couple months. 'Cause it starts looking shitty,
Yeah.
and even when I trim it, it doesn't look good. It's got to like refresh,
Yeah.
just like my stories when they don't get enough views. Just gotta wait a couple days.
And refresh them.
Yeah.
That'll do it today on the Overask podcast. Like this on YouTube, throw us a comment, subscribe, and give us a review on Apple. It really
Yes.
helps.
Yes. Thank you so much. Y'all take care now.